All right, welcome to the relationship show. This one is on lack of intimacy after 11 months. So this guy writes, "What should I do? I need help." Some background on me is I'm a single father with full custody of my daughter. I work a full-time job and own my own home. I've been in a relationship with an amazing woman for about 11 months. She has two sons. They're a handful, but I adore them and treat them like my own. From the beginning, she told me she isn't very affectionate. So like I can't remember the author, but there's a quote out there. It's like, if someone tells you who they are, believe them. And so if this woman tells you that she's not very affectionate, believe that she's not very affectionate. He says, continue on, but it's becoming painfully obvious at this point. With both of us being parents sometimes, it can be difficult to find alone time. But on the occasion that we are able to get babysitters and we are alone, there is still a lack of affection and physical intimacy. If we kiss, it's one kiss, and if I lean in for another, she seems bothered. We have sex maybe once a month. Now, that is like the bare minimum that you could possibly have as far as keeping an attraction in a relationship. Like Esther Perel is what I'm thinking of in this reference. In her work and her studies, she's found out that 11 times a year is like the bare minimum. If you have sex less than 11 times a year with your partner, then it's like intimate intimacy and feeling that sense of being like wanted sexually in a relationship falls practically to zero. Um, Even though we see each other at least 3 to 4 times a week, I do everything I can to make her happy. So that could be an indicator of some of the reason why she's not being totally attracted to you is because you might be coming across, I don't know this for sure, but you hinting at this, I do everything I can to make her happy, kind of conveys the message that it's like you're trying too hard to be like a pleaser in this relationship or like a nice guy. And typically, when you get into these like pleaser, nice guy roles, it doesn't really put you into your like true masculine energy. And when you're not in that energy, then it's kind of difficult to have that sense of attraction. And so, really, just focus on like doing what you want to do. Don't, you want to um, ultimately have her, really enjoy being in the relationship, but just be careful on thinking you have to do everything or like go over the top as far as like making this happen, as far as making her feel like okay or feel like you have to take care of her. Um, because ultimately, women want someone who they can't really get their way with because it makes them feel safe. When they can't get their way with someone, it's like it shows a strength to resist them and shows that strength in the other person. And so that's kind of why, like pleaser type guys don't typically get the attraction, whereas like you hear it like the label is like the bad boy type guy, where they get all the girls or the attraction or sex at least. And that's basically just because they do what they want when they want, and they're not focused on just like at the woman's beck and call all the time. And so there is an importance to, selfishness actually in relationships. It's kind of like a um, bad as far as associations to that word as being selfish, but it's very essential in relationships to have that little bit of that selfish nature, at least, at times. Um, I watch her sons on my off days if she has to work and make sure to have dinner ready when she comes over. I have asked her before if there was a reason for the lack of intimacy. So that almost is almost like you're saying, it's almost like coming from a place of fear of this lack of intimacy. It's like this lack of intimacy means like, I'm not really good enough. And so it's like you have to be careful when you're a man confronting women about how they hurt your feelings because it can come across as like an insecurity, weak, Um, Ideally, you can figure out the situation yourself and, adjust accordingly. Maybe get some kind of coach. Watch my videos. I mean, you'll get a lot of hints from those because I'm just going over examples, and you'll notice that the examples are just like really a lot of the same concepts over and over and over again. And if you can watch the videos, it's like you'll pick up on these patterns, and then you'll be able to apply them in your own life. So he, tells her this, and she was pissed. Basically, told me that if I ask her again about it, that would be the last time, and that she would be leaving. It's like, on a reaction like that, though, it's like, even if you are, coming from a place of your insecurities, if her reaction is like total defense mechanism and then like threatening the end of a relationship, that might be a clue, and then that she's not a good match and a good, you recognize that she had some kind of relationship, had 2 kids with someone else, and then ultimately the relationship failed. And so there was obviously something that didn't really work in her previous relationship. And, with a lot of people, they don't really learn from their past mistakes. They kind of just like try again and then try to do the same patterns, and then the same patterns don't work. And so, she's basically like staying true to this, like that she's not into being intimate with other people, which she told you from the start. Now she's threatening the end of a relationship. And this guy's like, Tony Robbins says, like, when you threaten the end of a relationship, you should end it right then. Because what it does is it destroys the sense of certainty in a relationship. And just what I've found is it's really, really this case as far as like when a woman is threatening the end of a relationship to a man, it's because it's like in a masculine role, you really have to be in that total certainty and total, because to have that certainty, that's really how you lead. That's really how you have like that confidence. And if basically that certainty is stripped from you in the fact that she's threatening the end of a relationship and that your efforts might not even work, it's like it makes it much more difficult to act in that certain state with that confidence and really, take the lead. He says, but I don't know what to do because I'm clearly not being satisfied, but I care a lot about her. Yeah, been together 11 months, and then it's like another aspect is the kids thing. It's almost like you're leaving the kids too. And it's not really an easy situation for them. It's like they've already lost a father in her case and a mother in his case. And now all of a sudden they get this other mother and father figure and brother and sister figure. And now it's like you're not just separating you and her, you're separating all the kids' relationships as well. So it's a difficult situation. That's why, relationships are such an important thing to really master. He says, I've never been in a relationship before where I didn't feel like I was desired at all. What should I do? I don't want to seem insensitive, but I do have needs and desires. Yeah, you might be being a little bit too sensitive, and just kind of trying to thinking if you can like please her enough, then maybe her attraction will raise, but it doesn't usually work that way. It's really your call on that if you want to stay in this situation or leave. Chances are it's probably not going to. It's going to be very difficult to get a better relationship at this point unless you get some kind of outside help. And the both of you are really committed to the relationship and are committed to growing.